The silence of space was broken by sparks and alarms. Tom gripped the edge of his seat as his small scout ship shook violently. Red lights flashed around him, and the computer voice repeated the same message over and over. Warning, system failure. Critical damage detected. What now? Tom muttered, tapping buttons quickly. His scanners had picked up an unknown energy pulse just moments ago. Then, everything stopped working. The engines died, communication went silent, and the control panel froze. The moon below was his only chance. He aimed the ship toward the surface, trying to slow it down with emergency thrusters. Smoke filled the cabin. He could barely see. The ship hit the ground hard, sliding across rocky dirt and thick jungle trees before slamming into the side of a hill. Then, silence. For a moment, Tom didn't move. His hands were shaking. His head throbbed, but he was alive. He pushed the hatch open. Coughing as smoke escaped into the open air. The sky above was gray and cloudy, and strange birds circled far away. He stepped outside, taking a deep breath of the heavy air. The jungle was dense and dark, filled with unknown sounds. He tapped his communicator. No signal. Great, he muttered, stuck on an unknown moon. Alone, he looked around for supplies. The ship was half buried in dirt, but he managed to pull out a medkit, a plasma torch, a survival pack, and his toolkit. It wasn't much, but it would have to do. As he wandered deeper into the jungle, he found something unexpected. Ruins. An old alien temple, covered in vines and stone carvings, stood in the middle of the jungle. It looked ancient, but solid. A good place for shelter. As he entered the main hall, he froze. Something was already there. Lying against the wall, half conscious, was a giant, a 5-meter-tall alien woman, with deep purple skin and long black hair braided with beads, sat slumped against a broken pillar. Her armor was cracked, and her spear was broken beside her. Her eyes were sharp, even though she looked injured. She watched Tom like a hunter watches prey. Tom didn't move. His instincts screamed danger. But she didn't attack. I mean, no harm, Tom said, raising his hand slowly. The alien woman stared for a moment, then nodded weakly. My name is Tom, human engineer. He took a step closer. You're hurt, she grunted. Her voice was deep but calm. I'm Kira, of the Varnock. Her words were slow, as if speaking a second language. This moon is sacred. I was returning. Then storm hit. Crash. Tom carefully moved toward her, opening his medkit. Looks like we both had a bad day. Kira didn't stop him. She let him scan her wound, a deep cut along her ribs. Her blood was dark blue. He cleaned it and wrapped it as best as he could. You're lucky, he said. The cut missed anything major. She didn't smile. I do not believe in luck. I believe in strength. Tom sat beside a rock and took a sip of water. Okay then, strength brought you here. And maybe it'll get you out. Kira looked at him. You are small, but you are not weak. You stayed when others would run. Tom shrugged. Didn't have much choice. The two sat in silence for a while, outside. Strange howls echoed through the jungle. The air was thick with heat, and dark clouds were forming above. We'll need to reinforce this place, Tom said, standing up. That door won't hold if those creatures decide to visit. Kira nodded. I will help, but first, you must understand something. Tom turned. What? She stood slowly, towering above him, even injured. She looked powerful. My people go through a cycle, a time of great instinct. It is part of our nature. That time has started. Tom blinked. What kind of cycle? Kira folded her arms. We call it the burning season. In this time, our senses grow stronger, our emotions rise, our minds shift. I will not harm you unless I lose control. Tom frowned. Is it dangerous for you? Maybe, but I have trained to resist it. I only tell you because I respect you. You must be careful. Tom looked at her, trying to read her expression. It was calm, but serious. I appreciate the warning, he said. But right now, survival comes first. Let's deal with one problem at a time. Kira raised an eyebrow, then gave a slow nod. Very well, we build. together. They began working on the temple. Tom used scrap parts from his crash site to power up some lights and reinforce the door. Kira, despite her size, moved carefully, helping to shift large stones and set up barriers. As they worked, Tom noticed something strange. The carvings on the temple walls glowed slightly when Kira passed by, but when he touched them, they glowed too. He looked at her. Did your people build this? Kira looked at the walls. Long ago. Varnick came here. But not alone. This moon was once shared by many kinds. Warriors of different species met here for challenge and bonding. But those days are gone. Tom ran his hand along a carved symbol. Maybe not completely. That night, they lit a small fire near the center of the temple. Tom shared his food rations with Kira, who seemed to enjoy the strange taste. You are not like the stories, she said. What stories? Old tales of humans, weak, dishonest, lost in machines. Tom laughed. That's one way to see us. But we also fix things. Think fast. Stay alive. She nodded. I see that now. The fire crackled softly. Outside, the jungle was restless. Inside, two unlikely survivors sat side by side, a human engineer and a towering alien warrior. They were different in every way, but they shared one truth. Both were stranded, both were fighters, and both would need each other to survive what was coming next. The morning air was thick and heavy. Bright sunlight pierced through the broken roof of the temple, as strange bird calls echoed from the jungle beyond. Tom rubbed his eyes and sat up. He had slept against a stone wall, using his pack as a pillow. His body ached from the crash and the hard floor, but he was alive. That was enough. Across the room, Kira stood completely still, like a statue. Her eyes were closed, and her hands were raised in a strange, slow motion. She was doing some kind of morning ritual, movements of discipline and focus. Even though she was massive and strong, her body moved with surprising control. Tom watched her in silence for a while. When she finally opened her eyes, she nodded at him. You are awake. Barely, Tom replied with a yawn. Do all Varnick start their mornings with a workout? She didn't smile, but there was a small hint of amusement in her tone. It is not a workout. It is called Zacher. It helps focus. The fire. Tom stood up and stretched. Is that fire inside your body? Yes. During the mating season, the fire grows. Our senses, our power, even our emotions rise. But if we do not control it, it controls us. Tom grabbed a ration, bar from his bag, and took a bite. So that's why you look like a statue just now? Kira nodded. It keeps the fire from burning too hot. Tom finished his food and walked toward the temple entrance. Outside, the jungle was alive. Tall trees, thick vines, strange glowing plants, and the sound of unseen animals moving between. Shadows. He scanned the horizon with a small device from his toolkit. Still no signal. I need to get higher ground if I want to contact my team, he said. Kira joined him, her large shadow falling over him. Then we must reach the cliffs. There's a high ridge north from here. You know the area? Tom asked. She nodded. My clan once trained here long ago. I studied old maps before I came. Tom looked up at her. Will you be okay to walk? I heal fast, she said simply. The fire helps. They gathered supplies, packed water, and began their journey through the thick jungle. Kira used her spear as a walking staff while Tom kept his scanner in hand. The vines were thick and some plants seemed to move slightly when touched. Giant insects flew between trees. It was nothing like Earth. After an hour of walking, they stopped near a shallow stream. Tom refilled their canteens while Kira stood guard. Suddenly, Tom noticed her hand shaking. You okay? He asked. She took a slow breath. The fire grows stronger. It is earlier than I expected. Can you still control it? He asked carefully. She closed her eyes. Yes, but it will not be easy. Tom sat down beside a rock. Tell me what to do if something changes. Kira looked at him. Stay calm. Speak clearly. Do not act like prey. Tom raised an eyebrow. Prey. If I lose control, she explained. My instincts may rise. Varnick are hunters. But if you speak clearly, and showed trust. I may still recognize you. Tom swallowed, then nodded. Got it? They continued their journey. After another long walk, they reached the base of the cliffs. Tall stone walls rose above them, covered in moss and strange symbols. A narrow path wound its way up. This is it, said Kira. The old path of warriors? As they climbed, Tom noticed a buzzing sound in the distance. The air was changing. He looked at his scanner. Something's interfering with the airwaves again. They reached a wide stone ledge near the top of the cliff. Tom raised his transmitter and connected it to a small antenna from his pack. After some adjustments, he tried sending a signal. This is Tom, human scout engineer. Crash landed on Moon 17. Alive. Require extraction. Repeat. Require extraction. He paused. The signal bar blinked once, then twice. Then stopped. No response. Tom sighed. Still jammed. There is something on this moon, Kira said. Something beneath us. The energy is old. Alive. Tom looked at her. Like what? I do not know. But this place was once sacred. Warriors from many worlds came here. It holds memories and power. They sat in silence for a while. Tom looked out across the jungle from the cliff. He could see for miles, endless green, broken ruins, glowing trees. Suddenly, Kira gasped and stumbled. Tom turned quickly. What happened? She dropped to one knee, gripping her chest. The fire. It's rising too fast. Tom rushed. Over. What do I do? She closed her eyes, breathing deeply. Stay back. Do not touch me. He stepped back but kept talking. You're stronger than this. You said it yourself. You trained for years? She growled low in her throat, then gritted her teeth. Yes, I trained to resist. I must remember who I am. Tom reached into his pack and pulled out a small device. He turned on soft music, calming tones used for space meditation. The sound filled the air around them. Kira's breathing slowed. She opened her eyes. What is that sound? It's music. We use it to calm the mind. She sat back slowly, letting the sound wash over her. It helps, thank you. After some minutes, she stood up, more stable now. You are not just an engineer, she said quietly. You're something more. Tom smiled. Just a guy trying not to die on a jungle moon. They started back toward the temple. The path was quiet, but something was watching them. Tom felt it, eyes in the shadows. Kira sensed it too. Stay close, she said. They returned to the temple by evening. The sky was dark and heavy with clouds. Inside the temple, Tom adjusted the energy lanterns while Kira sat near the wall, tired but in control. Tom looked at her. We're not alone on this moon, are we? She nodded. No. And the one hunting me may now know where I am. Tom frowned. You mean someone's after you? Yes. She said. An old rival. He would not care if I'm injured. He would see this as a chance to win. Tom stared at the glowing temple walls. Then we better prepare. Because if someone's coming, I don't want to meet them unarmed. Kira gave him a long look. You are small, Tom, but you have the heart of a warrior. Tom smiled, then grabbed his toolkit. Let's build something dangerous. Rain fell hard over the alien jungle. Thick drops splashed onto the stone temple roof, and the wind howled through the broken walls. Tom tightened the cover on the power unit he had just repaired. Sparks jumped, then the small generator lit up, casting soft blue light across the room. Finally, he whispered, We have lights. Kira sat nearby, sharpening a short blade with a slow, careful rhythm. Her eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. Though the rain outside was loud, her movements remained silent and steady. She looked up. Good work. Tom smiled. Thanks. Maybe I can't throw boulders like you, but I can power up a building with scrap metal. Both are useful, she said. They had been back in the temple for 2 days. Tom spent most of the time rebuilding defenses, trip alarms, energy walls, and a heat sensor system using parts from his ship. Kira helped by strengthening the stone walls with vines and metal beams. The temple was now more than ruins, it was becoming a fortress. But the feeling of being watched hadn't left them. Tom stood and walked toward the back of the main chamber. There, strange carvings covered the walls. The symbols were smooth, curved, and glowed faintly when touched. Kira joined him. These are warrior marks. Varnik used them to tell stories. Tom touched one symbol. It glowed under his hand. He looked at her. You said this place was shared by many species. Do these symbols mean the temple is still active? She nodded slowly. Perhaps. These marks only respond to living bloodlines. You and I, we, both hold keys to this place. Tom turned toward a round stone plate on the floor. He had seen it before, but never touched it. Now, with Kira beside him, he felt something strange like a soft vibration beneath his feet. Kira placed her hand on the stone. The carvings on the walls began to glow brighter. A deep humming sound filled the chamber. Then, the center of the floor opened, revealing a spiral staircase. Going down into darkness, Tom's eyes widened. Well, that's new. Kira stared into the shadows below. It has been sealed for generations. Tom picked up a small lamp and started down. Kira followed closely. Her giant footsteps echoing off the stone steps died at the bottom. They entered a round chamber. The walls were lined with statues of warriors, human, Varnik, and others Tom didn't recognize. At the center stood a strange machine, glowing faintly. Tom stepped closer. This looks like a memory core, ancient tech. Maybe this was a meeting hall? Kira moved toward the statues. Her hand brushed one, and her eyes widened. I remember this place. Not from my life, but from the dreams during fire season. This was the Hall of Unity. Tom turned toward her. Unity between species. Yes, she said. Before the wars. Before our people turned against each other. He looked at the glowing core. Maybe this tech still works. Maybe it can tell us what happened. Tom connected a cable from his toolkit to the machine. It sparked. Then a soft light lit the room. A projection appeared, a hologram of old warriors standing in a circle. A deep voice spoke. Translated through Tom's device, this place is sacred. A bond was made here. Between the strong and the wise. We stand as one, in peace, to share strength. And hope. Kira's eyes softened. This is what my people lost. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Tom turned toward the door. He heard movement. Not from upstairs, from behind the chamber walls. Kira raised her spear. We are not alone. A loud crack echoed through the stone. Then boom, part of the wall exploded outward. Tom shielded his face as smoke filled the air. From the dust stepped a massive figure taller than Kira, with armor made of dark metal and glowing red eyes. A heavy axe was strapped to his back. Kira narrowed her eyes. Drin, the giant warrior growled. You still breathe, Kira, even with fire inside you? Kira stood tall. You followed me here? Drin stepped forward, his voice like thunder. You left our world. You broke the oath. I bring judgment. Tom stepped between them, holding up his hands. Wait, we don't want to fight. Drin looked down at him. A human. With you? Pathetic. Kira's voice grew cold. Tom is my ally. Insult him again, and I'll show you the edge of my spear. Drin laughed. You grow soft. The fire has made you weak. Kira's hand tightened on her weapon. Tom could see the tension rising. Enough, Tom shouted. You want to fight her while she's injured and trapped. That's not honor. That's cowardice. Drin turned toward him slowly. You dare speak to me? Yes, Tom said. Because I'm not scared of bullies. Drin growled. Then you will die first. He charged. Kira moved fast, blocking his path and slamming him with her spear. The force knocked both of them into the side wall. The entire chamber shook. Tom backed away, grabbing a stun disc from his kit. He couldn't match their strength, but he could distract. Kira and Drin clashed, each strike echoing like thunder. Sparks flew as their weapons hit. Dust fell from the ceiling. Tom activated the disc and threw it. It exploded with a flash of light, stunning Drin for just a second. Kira took the chance. She landed a powerful punch to Dran's chest, sending him flying back into a statue, which collapsed on him. Drin didn't move. Kira breathed heavily, standing over him. You forgot, Drin. Strength is not just power. It's control. Tom stepped beside her. That was intense. Kira looked at him. Thank you. Your spark helped. You think like a warrior, in your own way. Tom smiled. Glad I could slow him down. They dragged Dran's unconscious body to the surface and placed him in a sealed room. Tom adjusted the energy door to lock him in safely. As the rain continued outside, Tom and Kira sat by the fire again. You didn't have to protect me, she said. Tom looked at her. Yes, I did. That's what friends do. She gave him a long look. You are not what I expected. Tom laughed. Neither are you. The fire cracked softly between them. Outside, the storm passed. But inside the temple, something new had awakened. Not just the machines, but something older, something watching. The storm had passed, but the jungle was still wet and full of mist. Morning light poured through the cracks in the temple roof as birds cried high in the canopy. The air was thick with heat and silence. Tom adjusted the straps on his tool belt while checking the security system he had built near the temple gate. The motion sensors were working now. Powered by solar cells from his ship, small lights blinked. Green so far, all clear. Kira stood a few steps behind him, watching quietly. Her armor had been repaired with metal plates and cords made from jungle vines. Her wounds were healing fast, but something still troubled her. You're quiet today, Tom said, glancing over his shoulder. Kira crossed her arms. The fire is rising again. Tom paused. You've been controlling it so well. She nodded slowly. Yes, but it gets harder each day. The season is reaching its peak. Tom crouched down to adjust the sensor. Can I help? I mean, more than just talking. Kira hesitated. You already help. Your presence keeps my mind grounded. Tom gave her a small smile. Then I'll keep talking. She gave a rare chuckle. That may be enough. As they returned to the main chamber, the temple felt different, warmer, more alive. The carvings on the walls now glowed on their own. Without touch, some even shifted faintly. Like the stone itself was breathing. Tom looked around. Is it just me, or is this place waking up? Kira placed her hand on the wall. The temple responds to harmony. We fought together. We bled together. That creates a bond. He walked to the glowing circle in the center of the floor. Indran, he broke the old code, she said. He brought hate to sacred ground. The temple rejected him. Tom nodded. Then we need to make sure no one else does the same. They headed down to the hidden chamber again. This time more prepared. Tom carried a small scanner and power kit. Kira held a glowing spear charged with temple energy. The statue still stood silent, but the memory core had changed. It now pulsed like a beating heart. Tom connected the scanner. A voice filled the chamber, gentle but deep. Bond confirmed. Unity registered. Next level unlocked. The wall behind the machine opened slowly, revealing another room larger, filled with long glass containers and strange machines floating in the air. Tom stepped forward. This is a lab. Kira's eyes narrowed. No, this is a forge. A forge for warriors. On one side, Tom saw shelves filled with ancient weapons, some still glowing. On the other, machines scanned bodies and adjusted gear to match their needs. This place, Tom said slowly, was meant to prepare people, different people, to fight together. Kira nodded. Not as enemies, as one. Tom walked over to a table where a strange suit rested. It was human-sized, but alien in design. He touched it carefully. This could help me. Try it, Kira said. The suit was surprisingly light. Tom pulled it on, and small connectors clicked into place. A soft hum vibrated through the armor, and a transparent helmet formed over his head. Ho? He whispered. This thing reads my vitals, even enhances my strength. Kira walked in a circle around him. You look like a warrior now. Tom laughed. Don't get used to it. She smiled slightly, but her face turned serious again. You will need it. Drum will not stay trapped forever. Tom frowned. You think he's awake? Not yet, but soon, she said, and he will return with fury. They left the forge room and returned to the surface. The temple felt stronger now, like the walls remembered what they once were. That afternoon, Tom trained in the open courtyard. Kira watched as he practiced movement drills using the new suit. She gave corrections how to hold balance, how to move quickly without wasting energy, and how to keep his eyes on all angles. Tom slipped once and landed on his back. Okay. Still not a real fighter. Kira offered a hand. You learn fast. You fight with mind and heart. That is rare. He accepted her help and stood, back home. I was just a systems engineer. Nobody ever gave me a spear and told me to train like a warrior. Kira looked at the cloudy sky. Back home, I was told I would never lead because I showed kindness. They said strength comes from silence and control. Tom glanced at her. They were wrong. She nodded. Yes, I believe that now. As the sun began to set, the jungle around them grew quiet. Tom placed fresh batteries in the defense grid and checked the status of the energy doors. The temple was secure for now. Inside the main chamber, they sat beside the fire again. Kira sharpened her spear while Tom warmed a ration pack. The smell of cooked food filled the air oddly sweet, with a hint of herbs from the local jungle. Plants he had added. Kira sniffed the air. Strange, but not bad. Thanks, Tom said proudly. Jungle stew la Tom. She took a small bite, then raised an eyebrow. You surprised me again. They ate in silence for a while. Then Tom leaned back against the stone wall. I don't feel like just a survivor anymore. You are not, Kira said. You are a warrior now. Tom looked at her. And you? How are you holding up with the fire inside? She closed her eyes for a moment, still burning. But calmer now. Because of the training? Or the temple? Because of you. She said softly, your spirit keeps mine steady. Tom didn't know what to say at first. We make a good team. Yes, Kira said. We do. Suddenly, a soft alarm beeped from Tom's wrist. He stood quickly and checked the screen movement. Outside the temple, south entrance, Kira was on her feet instantly. Spear ready. Show me. Tom pulled up a small screen, a heat signature. A single large figure was moving slowly toward the temple. Drin? Tom asked. Kira narrowed her eyes. Maybe or another. They moved toward the gate together. The jungle was quiet. Then they heard it a low growl. Not animal, not machine, something in between. From the shadows stepped a new figure. It was smaller than Drin, but heavily armored, with glowing eyes. And strange weapons on its back. Kira's grip tightened. That is a tracker, Tom whispered. Another Varnock. Kira nodded. Sent by Drin or worse, if they found us again. This is only the beginning. The figure stared at them, but did not attack. Instead, it turned and ran. Tom gasped. It's scouting us. Kira growled. Then we must prepare. War is coming, and this time. Tom knew. It wasn't just about surviving anymore. It was about protecting something greater. Night fell fast over the jungle. Dark clouds moved across the sky, and the air grew heavy and tense. The glowing plants outside the temple dimmed, as if the whole forest knew something was coming. Inside the temple, Tom checked the defense systems again. The motion sensors were active, the laser traps were online, and the electric shield across the entrance was fully charged. But it still didn't feel like enough. They're out there, he said softly. Watching, waiting. Kira stood beside him in silence. Her tall frame was tense, her armor glowing faintly with temple energy. She held her spear tight. They will not wait forever, she said. Soon, they will strike. Tom glanced at her. How many do you think are coming? At least 5, she replied. Trackers move in groups, and where they go, hunters follow. Tom swallowed hard. And Drin? Kira looked toward the trees. He leads them. This is not just an attack. It is a hunt. Tom frowned. Then, let's make them regret stepping into our trap. They spent the next few hours reinforcing their defenses. Kira placed stone traps around the outside spike pits and trip cords hidden beneath leaves. Tom adjusted the laser fence to cover the entire front wall and added small sonic alarms in the back. When the temple was ready, they returned to the main chamber. The fire still burned low, casting long shadows on the carved walls. Tom wiped sweat from his forehead. I never thought I'd be building war traps with a 5-meter warrior woman. Kira gave him a glance. I never thought I'd be fighting beside a human who wears jungle stew as a badge of honor. Tom laughed. Hey, that was a wartime accident, but his smile faded as the silence outside grew deeper. Kira stared into the fire. The fire inside me is changing. Tom looked at her carefully. Worse? No, she said. It's calmer, sharper. You have helped me focus. But the battle may test my control. Tom nodded slowly. Then I'll remind you who you are if you start to lose it. Kira looked at him, her expression serious. Thank you. Double quotes. Suddenly dash beep. The alarm on Tom's wrist flashed red dot movement. Multiple signals. South wall. They're here. Tom whispered. Kira stood, her spear glowing. Then we fight. The jungle outside lit up with flashes of blue light as the motion traps activated. Sonic blasts echoed through the trees, and laser wires cut across the dark like lightning. Tom watched from the command screen inside the temple. For red dots moved quickly through the outer line. One dot was much larger, staying behind. Tom said, "He's letting the trackers go in first." Kira stood by the door, muscles tight. "They test our strength before he moves." Tom picked up his plasma torch. He wasn't a soldier, but he wasn't going to hide either. "I'm with you," he said. They waited in silence. Then dash boom. A loud crash shook the temple. One of the back walls shuddered. Tom turned. They're trying to break in from the side. Kira moved fast, leading the way. She spun her spear and slammed it into the wall just as it cracked open. A tracker burst through, a massive figure with heavy armor and sharp claws. Kira roared and struck first. Her spear met the tracker's arm with a burst of light, sending it flying backward. The stone wall cracked further as more trackers charged in behind. Tom threw a flash disc. Boom! A white light exploded, blinding the trackers for a moment. Kira took them down one by one, moving like a storm. Tom ducked as another tracker grabbed him from behind. He slammed his elbow into its face and jammed the plasma torch into its side. The creature howled and dropped him. Kira rushed to the side and finished the job. "You are braver than I thought," she said. Tom stood, breathing hard. "I'm just as stubborn to die." They returned to the front of the temple just in time. Another crash came from the entrance. The shield was failing. Then he arrived. He stepped through the smoke and dust. Twice the size of the others, his red armor glowing and his axe raised high. "Kira," he roared. "Face me now." Kira stepped forward. "You broke the code, Dran. You bring war to sacred ground." Dran's eyes burned. "I bring judgment. You protect a human. You are no Varnik." Kira stood tall. "I am more Varnik than you will ever be." She charged. The two giants clashed. In the center of the courtyard, stone cracked beneath their feet. Sparks flew as their weapons met. Tom watched from the side, frozen in awe. Their battle was like a storm, fast, loud, and full of power. But Kira was stronger than before, focused, balanced. Dra growled. "The fire has made you weak." "No," she shouted. "It gave me strength because I chose to share it." She knocked his axe away and slammed him into the ground. Tom rushed forward. Grabbing the axe before Dran could reach it, he ran to the energy core and placed the weapon inside. "Let's see what the temple thinks of you," he muttered. The core glowed bright. Then it flashed red. Dran roared in pain. The weapon sparked and burned in his hand. He dropped it and fell back. Stunned. Kira stepped over him, spear pointed at his chest. But she didn't strike. "This is sacred ground," she said, "and I will not spill your blood here." Dran's head fell back, defeated. The remaining trackers fled into the forest, afraid. Tom exhaled slowly. "It's over," Kira nodded. For now, they returned to the fire, sitting once more in the quiet of the temple. Tom looked at her. "You were amazing. You were brave," she replied. "We stood together. That is what saved us." Tom smiled. "Warrior and engineer." Kira gave a small nod. "A strong bond." But far in the distance, in the heart of the jungle, something else stirred. The temple had revealed its power, and now others would come looking for it. Days passed since the fight with Dran and the trackers. Peace had returned to the jungle, but it was not the same kind of peace. It was quiet to quiet. The animals stayed hidden. The winds carried no birdsong, even the glowing plants around. The temple had dimmed. Tom stood on the outer wall of the temple, looking across the misty forest. His armor was scratched, his hands dirty, and his eyes focused. Something was coming. Kira joined him, her tall figure calm, but alert. Her spear rested against her shoulder. Her body still carried the heat of the fire season, but she held it in balance now. No longer a threat to herself. "They're waiting," Tom said. "Watching us." Kira nodded. "Yes, but they're not Varnuk. They are something older. I can feel them in the roots. In the stone." Tom turned toward her. "Then we need to know what's buried in this temple. We've seen weapons and memories, but that can't be all." Kira looked at the center of the courtyard. "There's one more chamber. Beneath the heart stone. It was sealed before the wars. My people were not allowed to open it." Tom's eyes narrowed. "But we're not like the old warriors. We're different." She looked at him. "Together, maybe we can." They stepped to the large stone in the middle of the temple, the heart stone. It was covered in glowing carvings and surrounded by circular lines in the floor. It pulsed. Slowly, like a giant heartbeat dot, Tom pulled out his scanner. "There's something under this. A power source, old, but still alive." Kira placed her hand on the stone. It glowed brighter beneath her fingers. Tom did the same. The light increased, and the stone began to shift. The carvings rotated in a perfect circle. The floor rumbled. Then the heart stone sank into the ground, revealing a spiral path downward. A deep hum rose from below, not dangerous, but full of mystery. They descended carefully. The air below was cool and dry. Strange light filled the hallway, coming from crystals embedded in the walls. As they reached the bottom, they entered a wide, round room. The walls showed no carvings, only smooth stone. At the center stood a sphere floating above a pedestal, glowing softly. Tom stepped forward. "This is like a command core." Kira moved beside him. "It is more than that. It holds the temple's voice and its final message." As they approached, the sphere opened. A soft voice echoed through the room. "Welcome, bonded souls. Warrior and maker, you have passed the trial. The temple accepts you." Tom and Kira looked at each other. The voice continued, "Long ago, this place was created by many worlds, a space for peace, for challenge, for unity. But war broke it. Hate poisoned the purpose. Now, the temple waits for those strong enough to heal it." Tom stepped closer. "You mean us?" "Yes," the voice said. "You are different. You fought together, protected each other, and chose unity over victory." Kira's eyes narrowed. "Then what is this room for?" The sphere responded. "This is the heart. Here lies the power to awaken the old network, temples across the stars, warriors, makers, thinkers, once linked together in peace. If you choose, the signal will rise again." Tom looked at the controls on the pedestal. "We could bring them back, yes, but others will hear. Not all will want peace. Some will come for war." Kira turned to Tom. "This is bigger than us." Tom nodded. "But maybe this is why we were brought together." He placed his hand on the pedestal. Kira placed hers beside his. The sphere glowed bright. Golden light spread through the room. The carvings on the walls reappeared, glowing like stars. Above them, a map of the galaxy formed in light, showing dozens of other temples once connected. Now dim, one by one, they began to blink, awake. The light faded, and the sphere dimmed again. The voice spoke one last time. "The path is open. But beware, those who broke the peace will rise again." Back in the temple's main hall, the changes began. Crystals along the walls sparked with life. Machines buried in the floor began to hum, and in the far distance, a soft signal reached the stars. A call to every ancient temple, every forgotten warrior, and every shadow that once feared the light. Kira sat by the fire, deep in thought. Tom sat beside her, wiping sweat from his forehead. "So, we just woke up an ancient network of warrior temples. Not a small thing." Kira gave a short nod. "No, not small at all." He looked at her. "Do you think they'll come? The other warriors? The ones who want peace? Some will." She said, "Others will come to stop it." Tom leaned back. "Then we better be ready." Kira stared into the fire. "You've grown, Tom. You are no longer just an engineer." He smiled. "You're not just a warrior anymore, either." They shared a quiet moment, side by side. Outside, the jungle stirred again. But this time, The forest was watching with curiosity, not fear. For now, peace had returned. But far away, something dark moved out in a hidden chamber on another world. A tall figure watched the light on his screen, the same golden signal sent from the temple. He stood in silence, armor black, eyes glowing. The unity has awakened. He said, "Then we go, and end it once more." The jungle was alive with sounds, birds calling, insects humming, leaves rustling in the soft wind. The temple stood strong against the sky, glowing faintly with the power of ancient light. Tom stood at the temple's edge, looking toward the horizon. His armor was worn, but his spirit was steady. Kira stood beside him, her eyes sharp, her spear glowing softly in the morning sun. They had faced many dangers, enemies, the wildfire inside Kira, the shadows of the past, but they were still here, still standing. "We've done something no one thought possible," Tom said quietly. "We reawakened the unity." Kira nodded. "But the price may be high." Suddenly, the sky darkened. Clouds rolled in quickly, and a fleet of ships appeared over the jungle, sleek. Black vessels cutting through the clouds like predators. Tom's heart raced. "They're here." Kira raised her spear. "Prepare yourself." The ships landed smoothly near the temple, and figures stepped out, warriors clad in dark armor, faces hidden behind glowing helmets. The leader approached, tall, commanding, his eyes burning red behind his visor. "I am Voran," he said, voice deep and cold. "I represent those who oppose the unity. You have awakened what should have stayed asleep." Tom stepped forward. "We didn't ask for war. We want peace." Voran laughed coldly. "Peace is a lie. Strength is law. And your unity is a threat to all who survive by power." Kira tightened her grip on the spear. "We will defend what we believe." Voran's soldiers raised their weapons. The battle began. The jungle echoed with the sounds of combat, metal clashing, energy. Blasts, warriors shouting. Tom moved carefully, using the suit's power to dodge attacks and help Kira where he could. Kira fought like a storm, fast, powerful, focused. She moved between enemies, her spear cutting through armor and energy shields. But the enemy was many. Tom spotted Voran in the distance, commanding his forces with cold precision. "We need to stop him," Tom said to Kira. She nodded. Together, they fought their way through the chaos, side by side. Finally, they reached Voran. He smiled beneath his helmet. "So, the human and the warrior stand united. Impressive." Tom raised his plasma torch. "It's more than that. It's hope." Kira charged forward, spear glowing brighter. Voran blocked, but Kira was faster. With a powerful strike, she knocked off his helmet, revealing sharp eyes and a scarred face. "Why do you fight?" she asked. Voran's face twisted. "Because the old ways are strong. The unity weakens us." Tom stepped forward. "The old ways almost destroyed you. We offer a new path," Voran growled. "Then we will end you." They clashed in a fierce duel. Kira's spear met Voran's blade again and again. Tom looked for an opening. He spotted a glowing control panel near the battle site, the same type from the temple. He ran and activated it. Suddenly, energy waves pulsed outward, the power of the unity spreading through the battlefield. The enemy's armor flickered. Their weapons lost strength. Voran and stumbled, shocked. Kira seized the moment and knocked him to the ground. "Yield," she said. Voran looked up, breathing hard. Then slowly, he nodded. The battle stopped. Later, around the temple fire, the warriors gathered. Voran spoke. "I was wrong to fear the unity. There is strength in it, but only if we fight together." Kira smiled. "The old wars must end. We must build a future." Tom looked at the gathered warriors from many worlds. "We're strong or united then. Divided." The temple glowed warmly. Outside, the jungle was alive with new hope. The unity was more than a signal or a network. It was a choice to stand together, to fight not for power, but for peace. And with that choice, a new chapter began.